Discipline leads to freedom. And so the areas in your life that you say you want to be free, the areas of, if you want to experience whatever that looks like for you in the form of freedom, it's going to require you to first be disciplined. There was another post, I couldn't find it when I was like, kind of thinking about this, but from Venus Williams. I think I was on my TikTok. I'll probably repost it at some point. But she said the exact same thing. She said, the only way to get to freedom is through discipline. The only way to get time free is to be disciplined with your time. That's probably one of the biggest points that you just heard in there is that the management of time, how one manages themselves within time, the discipline to be able to manage minutes and hours of your life will eventually lead you to being free, time free, because you've done everything you needed to do in managing that time. When we don't manage time, when we don't manage ourselves within time, and we get very loose with what we do and where we spend our time, it becomes impossible to be time free. You'll always be stressed because there'll always be things that got away from you that you didn't, you procrastinated on or whatever the case is. He gave you a few more of those examples in all the areas of our life. This is what we talk about on these calls, right? If you don't have the disciplines to set money aside, to save, to pay down debt, like whatever the things are, if you don't have that discipline, you won't get financially free. You need the disciplines in order to get yourself to freedom. If you're not disciplined in your health, you're not disciplined in your eating, you're not disciplined in you working out, moving your body, you're not disciplined in those areas, you are not going to be healthy. You're not going to be able to move around the way that you want to. This is what we have to remember in all the areas of our life. And again, I know this is just a reminder for most of us, but it's a reminder of how disciplined are we? How serious are we taking our discipline? If we say we want to be free, we say we want to get to a life we don't need a break from, then how serious are we about our daily disciplines, about our weekly disciplines, about the habits that we put in place for ourselves? Yes, it's going to be a sacrifice. Yes, it's going to be something that is not going to come easy. All right. But remember, we do the hard things now so that life becomes easier. If you do all the easy things now, life gets hard. And for us going off to design our ideal life, you got to practice doing the hard things. It's hard. You're not always going to get it 100%, but this has to be the way you operate. Like you have to naturally choose discipline. Like it says in the text, the great ones choose discipline over pleasure. You have to like this has to become the way that you operate. We can't just always choose the pleasurable things. We can't always choose the easy route. We can't always choose the comfortable thing if we want to get to our ideal life. If we want to see significant growth in all these areas, in your health and your finances and your faith life and your relationships. Denzel even said that in there about, right, having discipline in your relationships, having quality relationships that create support systems for you. They take discipline to talk, to communicate, to reach out, to spend time, like whether that's in your friendships, in your mentor-mentee relationships, whether it's in, your marriage, whatever the case is, it takes like disciplines in order for that for you to be successful in that area. And so again, these are reminders, but how much are you focusing on the disciplines? I know, right? The summer time comes and it's nice and we might choose pleasure. I'm guilty of that too sometimes. But this has been ingrained in me that this is how I operate. So even if I choose pleasurable things for a little bit, I always my operating system, I've unlearned and kind of reprogrammed this part of me where I get back to disciplines. My life spins out of control very quickly if I don't have my disciplines in place. It's very easy to get distracted. It's very easy to get pulled many different ways. Said another way, it's very easy to begin drifting. Napoleon Hill calls us drifters, right? People that just they're here, they're there. You're kind of committed, not committed. Kind of do this, not do this, right? You drift, and that's life until you catch yourself drifting and then have an anti-drift programming something that causes you to, when you feel like you're drifting, to bring you back into some disciplines. Because remember, discipline is how we get to freedom. Here's what it says in the text. It says, when average performers have had enough for the day and call it quits, champions are usually just getting started. Discipline is the watchword of great performers. Discipline makes the difference between the good and the great. The great ones will tell you discipline is more of a decision than it is an active skill. Say that again. The great ones will tell you that discipline is more of a decision than it is an active skill. That just weeds out, by the way, all of the excuses when people say, I'm just not disciplined. I just have no discipline. No, it's discipline is a decision. Like you can make a decision about something and then you start in small ways. But anyway, we'll get back to that. It says it's the ability to stay the course and complete promises you've made. The fulfillment of these promises builds confidence and self-esteem, which eventually leads the champion to believe almost anything is possible. It's a habit and self-fulfilling prophecy built into one. Discipline is a logic-based decision that performers adhere to, regardless of whether they feel like it or not. Discipline pushes performers past pain and punishment. As my late business partner and mentor Bill Gove would always say, it's easier to act yourself into good thinking than to think yourself into good action. This is the mindset of the champion. The great ones like Bill Gove don't let feelings interfere with their performance. Instead, they harness the power of their emotional motivators to propel them past the competition. Average people see discipline as a painful chore to be avoided at all costs. The world class sees it as the ultimate power tool for performance. Again, the reason why discipline leads to freedom is because now you have some things in place that are going to allow you to basically own the thing you're trying to get free from or the thing you want freedom in. You have to own it first. You have to take full ownership of it. You have to take full ownership of your time. You have to take full ownership of your health. You have to take full ownership of your relationships, ownership of your finances. Like when you take ownership and say, like, I have to do this for myself. I have to put this in place. Then you build the discipline around it so that eventually you can get free from it. And discipline is a decision. It's a decision that you make. How do we make that decision? It says by the emotional motivators. It's by back to what we've talked about for a very long time. How clear are you on what you want to achieve, what you want to make happen? How clear are you on what you want to make happen in your health? How clear are you on what you want to make happen in your finances? How clear are you on what you want to make happen in your relationships, in your spiritual life? Like in all the areas, you have to have clarity about where you're going that drives you emotionally. Remember, I happen to say this to a couple people this week, so that's why it's popping in my mind. But remember, you don't want to be a billionaire. You want the feeling of whatever you think a billionaire would have, right? Whatever $1 billion would do. You want the feeling of it, whether that means you feel like you're successful, whether you feel like you're significant, whether you feel like you have fulfillment because you can now, help other people, whatever that, it's not about the number. It's about the feeling that you're going to get in order to do that. So same thing. It's not, I want to lose 40 pounds. Well, why? Well, because then I'll look better. Well, what does that mean to you? Well, that means like people will respect me more. Okay, so we're looking for respect. Okay, we're looking to feel significant. Got it. That's the emotional motivator as to why you say you want to lose 40 pounds. But there's always an emotional motivator. And if we can get to that, if we can get to the clarity of why do I really want this, then we can get to the disciplines because now we know what we need to do, right? It says scripturally, right? Where there's no vision, people perish, right? I've told people this a bunch in their finances. In another translation, I think it's the Message Bible, it says, where there's no vision, people cast off restraint, right? Where there's no vision, people cast off restraint. So when people come to me and they come to us and they say, oh, I have a spending problem, or oh, I don't have discipline in my finances, or I don't budget, I often take them to, well, what do you want money for? Like, where are we headed? If you're not clear on the vision, on what you need money for, and with specificity, some people are like, oh, I just want to be comfortable. Well, what does that mean? Oh, I don't need to be rich. I just want to have enough so I don't have to work. Well, what number is that? What does that mean? And why do you feel like you don't want to work, right? Are we just living in this place of scarcity or this place of stress or this place and you just want some like breathing room because you think money will do that, but maybe you could get that now, right? We start having these conversations about why we're not disciplined or why we don't do things, but really at the end of the day, it's just because maybe our vision isn't strong enough. Maybe we're not clear enough on exactly what the outcome is that we're looking for. And if we can start there and say, okay, well, I know what I want to see in my financial life. I know exactly how much I need. When you ask people, how much do you need to retire? And they're like, I don't know, a lot. They're never going to retire, right? Because they have no idea. They're not even clear on what they want. But if they're like, hey, I need $2 million sitting in an account that gives me 4% interest. I can live off the interest. That's, $50,000 a year. I don't know. My math's not good, right? I don't get paid to do math, but you know what I mean, right? That comes out to whatever amount a year, $100,000 a year, and I can live off of that, and I don't have to touch the principal. Then that's how I know that I'll be able to retire. Okay, great. Now I have specificity. Now, what do we got to do to get to the 2 million? I bet you we're more disciplined. I bet you we're more disciplined in our finances because we now know the goal and we know what that feels like. And so we have to now practice this in all the areas of our life. If there's anything I can encourage you all to do and challenge you all to do, right, over this week and this weekend and all this stuff is to get clear. Get clear on exactly what you want in all the areas of your life. Get clear on what you really want in your relationships. Get clear on what you really want in your finances and in your health and right in your spiritual life and all the things, all the areas. Get clear on it. And then once you're clear, get to that emotional motivator, why you really want those things. What is it going to make you feel like? What feeling are you after? And then we can put some of those disciplines in because discipline, again, like it says here, is just a decision. It's not because you're good at it or bad at it. You just make a decision to tell yourself you're going to do something and you do it. It doesn't have to be major things. It just, can you make your bed every day? If you say you're going to do, you're going to journal for 10 minutes a day, do you actually do it? Or today you didn't feel good, right? That's why it's not based around your feelings. It's just based around making a decision. Like just get it done. Just get it done and then move on, right? These are the ways we have to live our lives, ladies and gentlemen, if we want to get to our ideal life. If we want to design that life we don't need to break from. It says here, with self-discipline, anything is possible. I believe discipline is the ultimate key to success as it determines your approach towards every day. Discipline keeps you focused and keeps you performing at a world-class level. That was Roger D. Graham. This is why this stuff is incredibly important for you to be thinking about and to be implementing in your life. You cannot just choose the pleasurable things. You cannot choose the comfortable thoughts. You cannot choose comfort when we're going out to design our ideal life. Action step for today, y'all, says scale from 1 to 7, 7 being most disciplined. How disciplined are you in the different areas of your life? Again, categories like business and career. How disciplined are you in your career, in your business life? How disciplined are you in your family and your friends, right? Your relationships. How disciplined are you in those? Do you call people back? Do you text people? Do you reach out? Do you think about people? Do you tell them that you think about them? Are you intentional about your interactions with people? That would determine if you have good friendships and good relationships around you, right? How disciplined are you in your finances? We're in the money business. How disciplined are you in your finances? It's the summer. I know you want to spend some money. I know it's nice out. You always want to spend money when it's nice, but are you still saving? Are you paying off debt? Are you right doing the things you need to do financially? How disciplined are you? What about in your health and exercise and your diet? What about in your faith and your spiritual life? How disciplined are you at reading the word or praying or whatever your practice is? How disciplined are you in that? How about in your personal development? Showing up to these calls is great. Taking in this information is great. But how disciplined are you outside of this? How disciplined are you in reading that new book? How disciplined are you into listening to new things? How disciplined are you in turning your car into a mobile university? Or are we still listening to the radio? Are we still listening to whatever, we have that's distracting us? or are we turning on something good that's feeding us? You got to take inventory of your discipline level, and then I encourage you to start working on it in those areas, right? Encourage you to start pushing yourself a little bit more out of your comfort zone. Encourage you a little bit more to say, okay, I just need a little bit more discipline in my life because it's a decision that I make. It's a decision to say, hey, I want that, what's up ahead. And so I know the only way to get there and the only way to get free is to have disciplines first. All right. I love you guys. I want you to win. You deserve it. Your families deserve it. People are counting on you to get disciplined so that you can make your family free. They're waiting on you to get disciplined. You might not have some discipline in some areas, and they're like, man, if Ron doesn't get disciplined, we can't go out and do these things, right? Like we're not gonna have the life we want. And so I want y'all to focus on that discipline over this weekend. Remember, we're taking off next week. Some of us are gonna be out in Vegas. But for all of you that are not out there with us, stay locked into your mindset training, to your personal development. Read something good, push yourself out of your comfort zone every single day. Do something that scares you, do something that challenges you. If you have to hear my voice in the back of right, your mind saying, right, we're choosing discipline this week over the pleasures. We're going through all the things that we need to do in order to get to our ideal life. But again, we're taking off this next week. We'll be back on Monday, the 14th, to resume our Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Be safe this weekend. I love you guys. I'll see you in a week. Take care.